There it is.
We're live. What's going on? This is our first BlackProGen Google Plus Hangout live from a conference.
Yes.
This is historic.
Epic.
Do you get awards for this? Is Chris going to be resurrected and walk through the door behind us?
There you go.
I don't know. There could be a number of things that could take place, but I'm Nicka Sewell-Smith.
I'm Angela, Walton-Raji.
And normally you see us in two separate boxes when we're doing these, but tonight
we are in
Burbank, California.
California.
Yes, at the Southern California Genealogical Jamboree. I think it is the 47th year.
Annual. Yes.
Yes. The Peanut Gallery is asking where Jay Leno is, and if we have seen.
I have been looking
sighting
for him, but I think he's hiding behind the Hollywood signs that I have never seen, and this is my first year here. I've never seen Los Angeles.
She's never seen Los Angeles, and we've come to this conference on a number of occasions. I'm currently digging out of our goodie bag. So, you know what, this is a great opportunity for us to talk about conferences.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a hangout where we talked about conferences and what that is for genealogy. A lot of folks are tuning in, and you're learning about genealogy research from our perspective, our experiences, things like that. But you haven't actually left the confines of your home and come to a conference where you've registered to sit in classes and learn from genealogists, family history researchers, geneticists, historians, I mean, you name it, professors, whatever. They come to these conferences and they speak. And that's one of the things that me and Miss Angela do, as well as Shelley. James Morgan presents, who's here on the Hangout. True needs to start presenting. We're working on her. Yes, I was looking at her. So we submit proposals to speak on various topics. And so this year at the Genealogy Jamboree, of course, you see how to pull out my bag. So when you register for a conference, people love bags, right? It's like the family reunion. You want to get your bag. You want to register so you can pick up your bag. I don't know about anybody else's family, but that's how my family is. You got to go to registration so you can pick up your bag.
Yes.
Right? So the bags are a big deal. So for DNA Day, or Southern California Jamboree, this is the 47th annual conference that they've had. This is one of the biggest genealogy conferences in the country, behind the Federation of Genealogical Societies Conference and the National Genealogical Society Conference. Taking place in Burbank, California, at the Marriott Hotels across the street directly from the airport. And the theme for this year is Giving to the Future by Preserving the Past. And so what's been amazing is the last 2 years they've had an African American genealogy research track where you can take a series of classes that are focused on African American genealogy research. There's me with pre-haircut. And yeah.
Ever so sleek in the back.
Should thank my barber, my husband. And Miss Angela, she's down there. I don't know why you didn't use your new picture.
I sent it to them.
I know they used her old picture, but I took a new picture of her, so I'm kind of sad about this. And also, you have Shannon Christmas here from the African Descendants, I think DNA, what's that group called? The African Descendants DNA or Genetic
DNA testing.
DNA testing. I forget what the name of that group is on Facebook.
Foundation.
Yeah, Michael Henderson, author of Got Proof. And there's Janice Lovelace here. Krista Cowan from Ancestry.com, also my cousin here. And there were a wide range of different courses. Shannon talked about identity by descent, using DNA to extend the African American pedigree. Michael Henderson spoke about manumissions and motivations, uncovering possible family connections. Krista is going to speak about racial designations over time. I'm sad I'm going to miss that presentation tomorrow. Janice is going to speak tomorrow on Who Owned Solomon, Finding 19th Century Slave Owners. We've got Angela Walton-Raji with two sessions.
She's done 3 since she's been here. But
I have done 3. I'm done, though.
yeah, she is.
Nigga's done. Tomorrow, well, actually, What are you talking about tomorrow? Since you're here, you're alive and in the flesh, right? Why don't we ask you what you're talking about tomorrow?
Tomorrow I will be speaking tomorrow morning about finding Indian ancestors in African American families, and which of course that's a popular topic. She blew them out of the water day before yesterday at the DNA. It was yesterday.
Yes, yesterday.
Yesterday in the DNA track in terms of DNA in Native American. It was very, very popular, and people are still talking about it. And in the afternoon tomorrow, late afternoon, I will be speaking about benevolent societies in the 19th and early 20th centuries. So I'm looking forward to both of those.
Yeah, and I name dropped James Morgan today because I talked about fraternal organizations and researching those organizations. And someone chimed in from the audience saying to use that for slaveholders.
Yes, yes.
I didn't even think about that. But they chimed in, if you want to kind of figure out where the slaveholder was going and moving, where their dues and stuff got transferred or whatever, look at their Masonic history.
Because a lot of the slaveholders, in fact, that is true, even in Indian Territory, Albert Pike, who was also served with Stan Wadey and some of the other people, he was a brigadier general. He was also a 33 or 33rd degree Mason.
Wow.
And to be able to follow the movement, someone suggested if any of the slaveholders were Masons, to follow their movement as they traveled. So I'm sure James may have some insights on that at some point.
I apologize. I stepped away from the computer. I just heard Albert Pike.
So many shout-outs, praises, said we name-dropped you, and then you come back to the computer and claim then don't know what we're talking about.
Well, no. I love you guys. I literally was trying to get myself set up here.
Because he ordered pizza for us. As you can see, we have a lovely container in the back of us because we literally ran back to the hotel room, so to speak, for us.
And here's a bite from Nicka.
I'm eating popcorn.
Got home training. Look at that. His mom is like, yes, baby, I told you. I
wasn't going to do
that. I'm chewing on popcorn, so
Yeah. But so I'm sorry. What did I miss? What happened with Albert Pike?
So basically, what we were saying was, now that we have to repeat, I was saying that one of the participants or one of the people who came to one of my sessions today talked about using Masonic records for slaveholders. So not just for your ancestors, but also to track the movements and the dealings of the slaveholders. And Angela chimed in talking about, especially in the Indian Territory, that one of the leaders was a 33rd degree.
33rd degree Mason.
Yeah, Mason.
Yes.
So that was really good, and I'm gonna definitely push James to start submitting for conferences.
Yes.
So you can kind of go global.
Well, I'm gonna be at IBGS in September, but I don't believe in shameless plugs.
Okay, I understand that, but we're working on you. You and True are in the doghouse with this.
Uh-oh.
All right. So
I'll take it.
DNA Day was yesterday, so it was presentations filled talking about DNA, triangulation, finding relatives, having contact with your matches, how to find matches, how to do segment chromosome mapping. I mean, you name it, you can think of it in terms of who was there presenting. Shannon Christmas was one of the presenters yesterday. I was as well. As Ms. Angela mentioned, I talked about tracing Native American ancestry with DNA and genealogy. This was the DNA Day bag that we all got. Nice little bag.
Yes, that's cute.
And they had lots of little things in here. You know, they usually it's a lot of advertisements to get put in these bags, and so this is the Preserve the Pensions project thing that happened. I actually, and you know what, I actually cleaned my bag out because I'm kind of maniacal about this. Since I have to fly back home, I don't want to bring back a whole bunch of paper that may not be relevant to what I'm doing. So these are the things that I kept. Family Tree Maker has gotten taken. No, I'm serious. Because I end up with the bag. So I bring the bag home and then it just sits there. And
I do the same thing.
Yeah, so
I don't pick anything up that is not relevant to what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely. So Synium Software is who. Actually, it's not Synium. It's McKeeves Software McKee is who purchased the rights to put out Family Freemaker. Since Ancestry said that they were no longer going to put it out and support it. And so they have a table here. And they, that's another thing. For people who haven't gone to conferences, you get deals offered to you while you're at the conference. And because the vendors don't want to have to pack up all the stuff and take it back home, sometimes they'll lower the prices like crazy low towards the end of the conference for things. So sometimes you might want to wait it out to see if they're going to lower the prices more. Maybe it's DNA kits or maybe it's genealogy software. I'm giving you guys game tonight on this kind of stuff. So, but Family Tree Maker, you could actually get it for a new version for $30 here at the conference. So they stuck these in everyone's bags. There's another thing here called shipindex.org, and it talks about over 3 million citations it's basically ship manifests. So that was also stuck in our bags. And something I thought also that was cool was this handout for the African American track went in everybody's bag. And there was also one, I think, for Eastern European.
Germany and Eastern Europe.
Germany and Eastern European research, and they had another track. Something else that was new this year was that they also had workshops. Typically, they just have your traditional conference 1 hour session. The person presents, you have question and answer for 10 minutes. But this year they offered something new, or they expanded it to where you could take a 3 or 4 hour workshop on a specific topic. One of the people that presented was Anita Henderson, who is writing, what is her business called?
Write
Your Life. Yeah, write books that sell, write your life. And she did a whole publishing workshop for like 2 or 3 hours yesterday. Me and Miss Angela tried to get in.
They wouldn't let us in.
They wouldn't let us in.
Did y'all think you were going to get in just because you were black?
No.
Get our badges?
No. So I have my badge.
So it wasn't in the African American track. It was in
the African American track. It was not the African American track, but it was held offsite. So that's the thing. I didn't know about these workshops until we got here, and I think they were like special registration. Like you paid an extra $20.
Came in the email.
It was in the email.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we missed it.
Yeah,
that's the same face Nicka made when the guy told her that at the table.
Anyway, it wasn't even at a table. The room monitor came up and was like, "Do you guys have a purple ticket?" And we didn't have a purple ticket. We're like,
"We got a badge."
Hold up our badge, right? And so she's like, "You have a purple ticket." And so then Michael saw us. He was sitting in the back of the room.
He came to our defense.
He was coming to save us.
Michael Henderson?
Yeah, Michael Henderson, her husband.
Yay.
Also a presenter.
He was trying to vouch for us.
He was trying to vouch for us, and the lady was like, "No, Fort Knox will get that purple ticket." And we were like, "But please." So that's the other thing. So we're talking conference culture, right?
Yes.
So you get your lanyard, and usually these are branded with the business. So they were giving out Family Tree DNA lanyards.
Wow.
And
I want one.
I know. I want that one too.
We're going next year, True.
So if you were registered for DNA Day, you have your DNA Day badge, and then you have your Jamboree badge.
Hmm.
And then the other fun thing that people like to do at conferences now are these ribbons.
I love them.
One of the things that's so funny is that Thomas McKenty is like hilarious with these. These will go like down to like his knees. He'll have like so many of them, just being funny. And so they put
the whole case.
Yeah, the whole case.
He has cases, not one. He has cases of them.
He has cases of them, and so they give you certain. Like they gave us certain ones. So like they gave us speaker, blogger, SCGS member, and then the Be Happy. And then I collected the additional ones, which of course the Afrogenius.
I have that one.
I do too. Can you tell us? Can you tell the audience what SCGS stands for?
That's the Southern California Genealogical Society. So I'm a member of the society that puts this conference on, and so is Miss Angela.
Thank you.
And so then what's cool is you can go to the different booths through the exhibitor hall, and they all pretty much have these little ribbons that you can add to your badge throughout the day. So that's one of the things that we conference people do. So yeah, so and you know, so some of these like California Genealogical Society, they didn't have a booth, but the president was here, and I'm a member, and I'm on the board, so she brought me that. And Miss Angela brought me the Afrogenius, and then I went to the Ancestry booth, and I went to the Legacy booth.
Yay.
So that's another conference thing. I'm trying to think of, because I really want to encourage people watching this to come to genealogy conferences.
Yes,
you know, because the world that we live in now is like so insulated and like so like
very much so.
And like people very rarely interact like with like other people like live. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have these conference hangouts was because I wanted people to see that we just don't talk to each other on these or through a screen. Like I actually see her and can touch her. She's not like superimposed. This isn't CGI, you know?
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
I think that each conference also has something that's unique about it. One thing I like about Southern California Genealogy Jamboree is that they have some outdoor pavilions. They're tents, but they provide a different kind of interaction. They have these round tables based on your interest or your specialty. It can be DNA, it can be cultural, African American. I think I saw some people at the Asian genealogical table that were just different things, and people can ask questions. Different societies host a table. The California group, CAGS, California African American Genealogical Society, had a table, and people were coming. I wandered in, and a lady called me over, and there were two gentlemen who were there from the Dominican Republic, and they were very interested because they've done DNA testing, and they're matching African Americans from South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and they were like, well, where can we, you know, communicate? And we're curious. We're seeing some things in our DNA that say Angola and West Africa, and they were there asking questions. Since I knew they were Dominican, I was chatting with them briefly in Spanish, and they were just very excited about making a connection, which I was really excited because here were some Dominicans who were acknowledging this is part of their ancestry, and they were at the CAGS table. It was just really kind of a neat thing, and you were with several people.
Yes, oh gosh, what was I? I spoke to Linda Okazaki, who also joined us.
Been here.
She's been on our Hangouts before. She specializes in Japanese research. They actually had an Asian American research table. So if you were interested in that, they had people there to serve as experts. I think when they sort of first started doing, they call it Genealogy World.
Yes.
They had Genealogy World in one tent, and then the other tent was empty. But now it's Genealogy World, and then there was a whole separate DNA tent.
Yes, yes.
And so there are at least 10 tables. You can look at the topics, and then I know when they first started doing that, we served at the African American table. So we just would sit there for an hour or two, and then anyone who came, they could come and ask questions.
It was really neat.
Whatever. It's really neat. And so I went to the Asian American table, FTDNA group projects. I talked to someone about that. African American table, we sat and worked through someone trying to help someone locate more information on their great grandmother in Louisiana.
That's right.
And it's just really fun. That's one of the highlights of this particular conference is, you know, that's one of the things I like. When I do presentations, I want people to feel challenged, and I always joke, if I don't make you go home or go back to your hotel room and feel like you absolutely have to try to find stuff that I was talking about, I didn't do my job. Like as a speaker. If I didn't challenge you or make you mad or inspire you, then I didn't do my job. And so that's one of the things that I do. And I love when people come up afterwards and ask me questions or even stop me and say, hey, what do you think about this? Because that expands learning, and it validates people. I actually had a woman come up to me tonight and say, you know, I just thought there was something wrong with me in genealogy. She said, because when new databases come out, I do what you said, like at Nordstrom Rack. One of the examples I gave was when I love shoes. I love shoes. That's like my thing, right? And sometimes you go shopping and you don't necessarily have a thing you're looking for. You just know, I want to replace these particular shoes or whatever it is. And so you just browse the aisles just to see what they have. And I said, why don't we do that with genealogy? When a database comes out, why don't we just browse the collections or just go out and see what's there? What's wrong with that? Who says that there's something wrong with that? I said, oftentimes I'll search just for people, like we were just talking today. Ancestry just released this set of records for Indiana. Birth certificates, death certificates, marriages. Where it puts stuff into the 2000s that's available on this. And so before the class, I'm just having banter and I'm talking and I'm like, ooh, you guys got to get in Indiana. There's some great records in there that they just released this week. And I said, have you ever just searched the birth records or the death records for somebody born in the location your family's from? Without adding a surname, without adding a first name, just to browse and see who was there. There's absolutely nothing. Miss Shelley says she's in the Indiana records right now.
For the last 2 hours, Linda Bud Sims said they released them, and I went right to it and ain't got up since then except to make my popcorn.
Oh, yes. So she's got popcorn and the Indiana records.
What? Yes.
What? Okay, so hold on one more second because James has got a genealogy conference testimony. Where's my tambourine?
Uh-oh. My testimony with genealogy conference actually is inspired by one Miss Angela Walton-Raji.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to put you out there too far, but Angela, she and I, we talk, fairly often and everything. And one day she invited me to one event, was a genealogy related, and I said, well, no, I can't do that because I got to go over here to this other thing, but I appreciate it. And then I showed up at the other thing, and who was there? And I said, Angela, you ain't supposed to be here. You're supposed to be at the other thing. And she goes, oh, I did that already. I'm here now. And I was like, but that was like how did you, how fast do you drive? So that's my my genealogy conference testimony.
That's awesome.
That's funny. That is too funny. I will admit to nothing.
She said she will admit to nothing.
I admit to nothing.
Well, I will share a testimony.
All right. Let's go.
2006.
Did you guys put an offering in the offering basket?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yes, no.
I can't write it off.
We're currently a 501c3 organization.
To follow up on James, 2006, I'm listening to Megan Smoliak's, what was it, Roots TV? No. Yes, Roots TV.
That's right.
And this is 2006, and I'm listening to this presenter, and she's talking about the 1910 census.
Okay.
I know she ain't going to remember this, and I know she's listening. And she's doing, it was recorded, and she's doing a presentation on researching Native Americans, and she was talking about 1910 census, right? And she was standing up there talking about going to the 1910 census and getting to the end. And I mean getting to the end, and her hand went like that, saying you get to the end to find the Native American records. And that's where I first met or heard of Angela Walton-Raji. She was the speaker, and I'm describing that, and we're in a chat, and she said, that was me. She said, that was me. We had communicated online, but I didn't realize that was the same person. And so learning about the dolls, rows, and stuff was a teacher, Angela Walton-Raji. So, James, I have a testimony, too.
Well, I was
right, True. You got one?
Somewhere around there. At Roots Tech in 2016, it was like, that was my boo-hoo moment. It was like I had Angela, Bernice, and Shelley. I was like a spoiled kid. I had them all to myself for 4 days. So that's my genealogy testimony.
Another reason in the
I can't wait for Maggie because it's going to be, I already know it's going to be ridiculous.
We have picked up, I think, a few converts to Maggie this week.
And we've been evangelizing for Maggie.
We have been evangelists for Maggie.
Right.
Is here. from Indianapolis.
They
And
live
so
in Indianapolis.
I asked them, "Are you all coming to Maggie?" And well, what's Maggie? Of course, that's the next question. So we began to talk about it. Then, as we were about to run across the street to get something to eat, to come back just a few minutes ago, we saw them. And I said, well, I hope we're going to see you tomorrow, and I hope we'll see you in July, just sort of saying something. Yes, I think we are going to come. And I just
That's wonderful.
and told them they need to come.
Yes.
Let's see what happens. So,
I hope so. That'd be great.
I think one of the things that the same couple told me was, she said she was hesitant to come, and then she came to 2 of my presentations, and she called people and said, "You got to hear this girl."
Right.
That's wonderful.
Literally dazzled. We're walking back. One lady sitting by the pool.
With wine.
That was the best thing I've sat
with
in.
her wine glass, like her feet up on the Chase Lounge.
Deaconess Lewis, can you please pass the offering bucket around?
Hold on, where's the card reader?
Oh,
it was so good. Like and that's the thing. I never, let's talk about it from the perspective of speakers, right? Because we've talked about it from the attendees' perspective, but as speakers, for me, one of my big things is I want interaction in my sessions. I want people to feel alive and like the content is reaching them and like they can apply it. It doesn't matter. And so today I spoke about transcending the black hole, which is records from 1881 to 1899, how to reconstruct that era because we don't have a census for that. And one of the things that I did to really make a connection back to African American research was when I spoke about record sets, I spoke about them from the traditional sense, and I also interjected about how to do that for African Americans or people of color. And I noticed a lot, the room was majority, people who identify as white, but they were taking notes. On some of the things that we were talking about that were in reference to African American history. And that to me, if you learn nothing else but that you can go, what was one of the jewels? I'm trying to think. We shared just so much. But
oh gosh.
I mean, it was a really good session, and the DNA do not play.
Nope.
It does.
I tell you, you cross that line, you better be ready.
Be ready, and that's one of the things we talked about.
The emotional side.
The emotional side.
If you find out that Pa ain't Pa, wow, what do you do with it?
That was right from that movie, Color Purple.
It was. She got it when I used that yesterday.
Yeah, a couple of people
a few people did when I used that yesterday.
That's right from Color Purple, which is interesting when you're talking about the DNA, because my daughter just did hers.
Oh, Janine.
And she did. And you got to look at the thread. She's posting that, which her friends are seeing that, and they're all running out and getting them. And the one friend, and I'm not calling out names or anything, she's nervous. And I told her, call me when you open it. And, when you get the email, just get on the phone, and I'll walk you through what I can, from me being in Virginia and her being somewhere. And because she's definitely thinks there's something there that might not have been told to her.
Wow, that's nice.
And a sibling, not a sibling, is basically that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? It's okay. They're still your sibling.
That's right.
So you just got to move on. I said, but think about all the other exciting things. And if you go on to, I think I posted it on my general, not in a certain group, but there's a video running around that was done, and it is 2 people talking to people about DNA. And, of course, they're saying, I'm this, I'm that, and this, that, and the other. They do the results, and, of course, they get the test back in 2 weeks because they're filming this. And then they're explaining to people, people are opening up the results, and mouths are dropping. And one guy said he didn't like Germans. Of course, he had German in him. And then there was actually 2 people, basically different countries, that were related in the group. which was another real cool thing. So it's an active video. I don't know if I could find it and post it in the link in the box, but it's appropriate. So it was very interesting, very, very, very interesting.
That's one of the things we've been really echoing here is just, you know, times are changing.
Yes.
People's backgrounds are changing, you know, and you just have to be prepared and be well versed in doing just genealogy overall, versus you know, versus saying, oh, African American. You know, you just have to have the skills to be able to research for everybody. And,
Correct.
And something we actually did the podcast, the African Roots podcast earlier today, when we had a really good conversation. Some of the stuff we talked about, you know,
Right.
we talked about whether people think that DNA is taking over too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
is it leaving traditional genealogy behind?
Well, you know, I don't think that. I mean, I don't know what the conversation was, but I don't think that that's possible.
Listen to the podcast. I'll send you a link.
I will do that. But I don't think that's possible, really. I think that they're complementary. But DNA can tell you, you know, a lot about what makes you up and where you come from and who and all that. But the story of who these people are. I mean, okay, you're 50%, you know, Australian or 50% Asian or whatever. Okay, but that doesn't tell you about the time that your grandfather was a gold miner and, you know, or what have you. So I think that you need both. You need both.
You need all of it. You don't need one or two. You need to look at all of it to tell that story.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah, they go hand in hand, but you'll never have to worry about getting rid of traditional genealogy. That's always going to work.
Well, when there's money involved with the DNA testing, I caution that because it's like a fad right now. It's going rapid, you know, and a lot of people are doing it and not doing the genealogy. And they're going based solely on, you know, DNA, which to me, you can't do. You're just doing another piece, another tool, but it helps so many people, especially people that have been adopted or separated from their family, trying to find them. Yeah. And so there's a lot of advantages, but you know, the ugliness will come out as well, that people will take it another way. And so that's why I like it in the hands of the genealogists, you know, because they're doing the story. It's really not about, hey, I'm this, I'm that, you know, and that emotional side. So
and you know what's funny? It's funny you mention that because I'm gonna actually tell a personal story real quickly. This was last week at my job actually. We have this intern there, and we were just having a conversation, what have you. And so he starts talking about, you know, how he's biracial and he had, you know, his family, mother's side and father's side, neither one, you know, primarily his mother's side, they really have an issue, you know, they're white or whatever. And he says he doesn't really get the full acknowledgement and all this kind of stuff. And then he starts talking about, well, that got me into doing my family history. And, you know, I built a family tree and I did DNA and all this stuff. And I just sat there and listened. I said, wow, so this is what this feels like, to have somebody start telling you about their family history. And so, you know, I told him, I said, yeah, well, you know, I do the same thing, you know. And I honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I said, okay, well, maybe he did a little bit. No, this guy actually did his work. Like, this brother was on his stuff. And I started poking around. He showed me his tree. I started poking around. I said, wait a second, you have some Arnolds from Spotsylvania, Virginia?
Yeah.
Me too. And for the life of me, I could not find the exact link, but I was like, wait a second. His Arnold line and my Arnold line, you find them in the same places, even going back to England, you know, which was like, this is interesting, you know. And it's just, you know, like you said, the ugliness and all that kind of stuff, it comes out, but at the same time, you have to remember, this is the truth, you know. And this guy, I mean, we look nothing alike, whatever. But at the same time, I was like, wow, you know, our ancestors, we can at least say for sure, our ancestors have the same last name, and they lived in the same towns, and I'm black, he identifies as black, but these are white people we're talking about. But that might actually be a connection between us. You know? I mean, so at the end of the day, what does it really matter, you know, when people have those kind of issues? I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, it just is what it is, you know?
Right, right.
Wow. So
Amazing.
something else I forgot to mention. This is my favorite part of our bags.
What you got?
Oh.
We got Roots Magic luggage tags. People probably think that this is. I think this is the cutest thing ever. I'm so excited.
I want one. I'm using Roots Magic when Family Tree went away. I love Roots Magic.
I love Roots Magic as well.
I got the pin from Roots Tech, but that is so cute. I could think of it.
We need one of those, crew.
I just love this. When I got it, I was like, oh, that's Angela. We gotta win it.
Did you get it from the table?
No.
For registration.
Conference bag.
Oh, I gotta send that email. I want one of those.
More swag.
Nice
More swag. Yeah, there's more. Oh gosh, there's more stuff I picked up. Oh, we didn't talk about the Bureau of Land Management being here.
Oh, yeah, let me get my notes.
Oh, they do fabulous display.
And they are coming to Maggie.
Yes.
So, a little bit about the Bureau of Land Management. They public lands purchased by private citizens. You can get certificates for your ancestors, family members, whoever who purchased land patents from the federal government. Those are available at the Bureau of Land Management website. And they actually were here at the Genealogy Jamboree, and they provided people with copies of their family's land patents. And not only did they give you copies, but they put the stamp and they embossed it for you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's official. It's like an official record.
Two.
She got 2 of them.
For my ancestors in Southwest Arkansas, my Bass ancestors.
Yeah.
I can really use that. Dang.
They do that right on the spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can download them too, but they're there and they get the seal on them.
But
yes.
On parchment paper and the official seal.
Yes.
And I also got a map showing where the land is located.
Flat. Yes.
So I was
That's
excited.
awesome.
Yes,
I have a table at Maggie.
Have a tag table at Maggie, and it was
on my list.
after my my talk. I actually brought them up during one of my talks today.
Yeah.
And I said, did you guys see an influx of people over here? And they said, yeah. I said, great, because I stepped well to your table.
That's right. That's true. Yeah.
I don't have anybody that has land patents at all, but I'm sure people do.
You guys know you can even go further besides the land patent record is get that application that went with that.
The homestead application as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is so interesting and fascinating when they're talking about me and my wife, the kids, how many kids, they're married, they built a house, 1 door, 2 windows, 2 doors, 2 windows.
Yep.
You know, they planted 1,000 strawberry plants, you know, and I'm just welling up. I just love it.
Yep.
You know, so much detail.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, it's been a good experience. I'm speaking tomorrow. I have 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, so I'm looking forward to it as well. And I've been putting some pictures up on Facebook, so you want to take a look at that. I have a few pictures on my podcast webpage. If you go to AfricanRootsPodcast.com, besides listening to the podcast, James, there are a few images also from this conference as well, so you can take a look at some of those too. So, but it's been very good. I think that interaction, that round table, and people just having a chance to ask really good questions has just been very, very special. I think it's made it worthwhile for so many conferees. And we go to a lot of conferences on the East Coast. I don't think we get as many out here. So I think that this, for me, it was good to see all these West Coast people with Arkansas and Oklahoma roots. They live here, but they're from, you know, somewhere further east. So I found that just really, really enriching to run into people who are researching Tennessee and Kentucky and Mississippi and other places. So it's just really neat.
Yeah, this is pretty much the place to be on the West Coast when it comes to a large genealogy conference.
Yeah, and I think so.
You know, and since we're talking about conference culture, you know, there are smaller conferences. This conference is very big. But there may be smaller ones at a local genealogy society or historical society.
State conference.
You know, maybe put putting on, and you should definitely look into those conferences. I know James is going to be out here next week for a Freemasonry event.
Yes.
He's just going to just miss us.
Yeah, unfortunately.
James, a question for you, because I had mentioned just in a casual conversation about some of the different fraternal organizations, and I didn't know exactly how to word it. I kept saying, which is why I told someone to reach out to you.
Okay.
What do you call those annual proceedings booklets? Or I don't know if that's something that people can actually go to either special libraries for, or some maybe on Google.
You call them annual proceedings.
Annual proceedings.
Yeah.
And what is the best place to direct people to, besides to you? But what's a good place to tell people to find them or to locate them?
It really depends by state. The single best place is the Iowa Masonic Library. That's the single best. Yeah, that's the single best place. They do scan and email records for a fee. But the only thing about that is, and the reason, and I always tell people, if you're not like a Masonic historian, something like that, to get with, you don't have to necessarily get with me, but get with somebody. For these purposes, you can direct people to me or whatever. But you want to know, or at least have an idea of what you're looking for, because the thing about it is, even like we know in genealogy, it takes time, right? So if you tell me to find a lodge, you're looking for a family member in Pike County, Alabama. Well, Pike County, Alabama, what year? You just want to know at least what year, what time period, and then try to be as specific as possible when you reach out to them, because that's going to make it a lot easier. Because they're going to be like, okay, well, I can just give you the whole book for $100, but you're going to have to go through it page by page and figure it out yourself. So there's little ways to whittle it down. Also, again, like I said, it just kind of depends on the state. Louisiana has a great archive at the Amistad Research Center. They have an amazing archive there. Like they didn't throw anything away in Louisiana, which is amazing. Here in DC, you have, like, actually it's funny you mentioned about researching slave masters, because here in DC, the House of the Temple Library, they're not open. They're open Mondays to Thursdays. They have collections of white Grand Lodge proceedings going back quite a ways. And they have some black stuff, but not a lot. But here in DC, we have our own library as well.
Does the Iowa Library have Prince Hall Mason?
Yes.
They do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah, a lot of, not everything. They don't have. I won't say they have everything, but I would say they have a ton of stuff. They have a ton of stuff. If they don't have it, they probably can tell you who to find to get it.
Well, we've got 12 minutes left, and we have not talked about roots yet.
Yeah, let's do that.
We got to do it.
We got to do it. Me and Miss Angela are going to have to bow out of the conversation because neither one of us has watched the whole thing yet.
Okay.
I'm traveling. I have a 1-year-old kid. I got to do it at night or something. I'm going to catch up. I promise I'm going to watch it. But for Crew and James and for Shelley, what have been your, I would say, let's do top 3. What are your top 3 takeaways or comments or chime-ins? What? Now that the whole series is over.
I've watched each episode twice.
What? Wow.
I watched it when it reran on the same night. After it aired, and then it came back on and repeated the same episode. So
Angela's she's like, I just can't watch it.
Well, and I understand and respect that. And my big takeaway, they should have called it something else instead of Roots. They should have called it, because it's a different version. It somewhat followed the storyline. But because we're dealing in 21st century technology and whole different stuff, and it went into the other takeaway, why in the heck did they go off into the wars? That wasn't in the original book. What was the impression on that? And I'm a big fan of military and the wars and do a lot of research, but it was hard to grasp that, to think, wait a minute, Kunta Kinte? Wait a minute, you in the Revolutionary War? Wait a minute, where was that at? Type thing. I'm sorry if I just blew it for someone that didn't watch it.
No, somebody watched.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, here's the Civil War, and oh, what? Wait a minute. So I had to grasp that because I know it's a remake, but they went off in several different directions that were not there. But the last takeaway, the technology stuff, was very much, how do I say it, with the time right now. And so, again, I always tell my students, don't take your 21st century brain experiences and life into the 19th century when you're trying to read and understand what's going on. And so I struggled through it. I think they did very well. The actors were good, but I struggled with those three things.
Okay.
I'm done. It bothered me. I couldn't sleep. I was going to work. I was just up most of the night, you know, trying to solve, and was concerned that somebody was going to set me off, and I had all that energy locked up in me from the violence that I saw, and I was going to explode. And I thought, please, Lord, be there for me to get me through the day, because I was going to be the only person at my office of color at the one day, which was the Tuesday. And I thought, because you got to sink that in and let it get through and then keep going. But I did well. I was okay. I stayed away from all humans.
Yeah, I had a hard time the first night, and then after that, I just took it in and just grasped everything they were doing. Visually, it was very stunning, like you said, with the technology and everything, and they did veer off, and you kind of like found yourself fact-checking. And I was trying to keep my genealogy hat off of it and just go through the emotions, and then like today is when I kind of like debriefed myself and just tried to you know, take it all in. But in between these 4 days, I'm getting calls from my mother and having conversations, you know, well into the night with other people that just don't understand, or they're having a hard time with their feelings. So we're all kind of like walking through this together with them. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest takeaway for me was it was for, I would say, my kids' generation. My kids are in their 30s. Yes. So I was 9 when it came on. So this was kind of like their take on it, on their level, with their music, how they would understand it, and then they can go back and appreciate the 1977 version, which their parents probably didn't teach them about, even though it's different in my family. But I just feel like there's a whole generation that left a stain on my kids' generation about this whole thing about genealogy and where our stories. And the main thing I want everybody to take out of it is that, you know, we still have to continue to tell our stories. We can't let other people tell them for us. And it kind of renewed me and it revived me, and I'm like so ready for Maggie right now. Yeah. And I wrote about how I was going to feel before Roots started. I wanted my you know, my readers to know why I'm watching Roots. So I'll probably do a follow-up piece, since I'm like trying to, you see how excited I am. I'm trying to bring myself down, but yeah, it was a renewal and a revitalization for me. It makes me want to continue to do what I do for the Ike Ivory family and all my family, really. And it's just keeps on making me just want to keep on going. That's what that did. That's awesome. I'll just leave it at that.
What about you, James?
You know, it's interesting because like I had a unique experience with this. I think, well, maybe y'all don't know. I don't know. I actually got to see the first episode before the rest of America because I was invited to a pre-screening. You know, that's what happens when you have friends in high places. And, and so, you know, I got to actually, I actually got to deal with the producers of the film of Roots, and this was like, you know, going back almost 2 or 3 months before, you know, this week, and So I got to kind of get in their head and actually talk to them, face to face a little bit. I'll be honest with you, and again, I have a background, in production and film and whatnot. So watching it, I think some of the issues that people had with it, like Shelley talked about going off into the wars and stuff, it kind of felt like the producers, because we know black film it doesn't get put out there the same way other people, do for various reasons. It felt like there's this energy that they had of having to be able to produce films on other subjects, and then they got their opportunity to do Roots, and they said, well, let's squeeze all these great ideas into Roots.
It was rushed.
Yeah, it was rushed.
And I think that's a good word. Excellent, true.
Yeah. So
they tried to squeeze those 12 hours into 8, and we're missing the other 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I felt on it from a I would just get that out of the way from as a kind of a negative, I guess. But on the positive side, I appreciated the fact. I really appreciated the first episode more than the others.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That was my favorite in the very last scene.
Exactly.
The last scene was awesome.
Absolutely. And the reason why for me was because I said, and I told everybody, I said, look, if you've seen the original Roots, go back and watch the first episode, if for no other reason because I had never seen West African civilization depicted that well on American television.
Exactly.
It was visually stunning, that first episode. It told everything of what we are.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Exactly. So hopefully, I really hope that the same way the first Roots inspired people to go and search their family history, I really hope that at least that episode can inspire people to go back and study West African history and culture and civilization, and so that we can get a better understanding of who our ancestors were when they first got here and what was their thought process when they first got here. The scene that really hit me was with Kunta Kinte was when he first arrives in America, and he asked the overseer. He's like, are you the king here? How many years do I have to serve? I want to go home.
Right.
He's like, I just want to get this over with. And in his mind,
I can go back.
Exactly. It has not hit yet that this is it. You're not going back. It hasn't hit.
Right.
And it did tell it told the story of 4 generations too, because you go from him to the Chicken George, and then you see his son's life, and then you see the babies. So it did have a little twist to it where you could see that generational, the ups and downs, the flaws and the pride and the joy and the sorrows, and what each generation learned from the previous. Because when it all came back full circle and came back around, that baby, Tom knew what Kunta knew.
Absolutely. And I would just say, I think that it's really interesting now. I know a lot of people had issues like Snoop Dogg. I'm not going to get into that, but people have issues with all this. Now you have a lot of movies coming out.
He doesn't count.
Yeah, fair enough. But my thing is, I said it's interesting watching Roots, comparing this Roots to Underground, which maybe that could be a discussion in and of itself. Seeing those things there, I thought was important. Because what happens to me, what happens too oftentimes, I'll end with this, is that we look at the concept of slavery and being the African American experience, and I say, well, okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with being African American experience. But I always ask the question, when did we stop being African? And that's the thing that a lot of people don't get into. And I love how Roots, whether it's the original or this version, how that remained the focus of. You never really stop. You might be American as well, but you never really stop being African either. So I love that thing. So I just kind of ended there on a positive note.
To me, based on somebody who hasn't watched, I've watched exactly 2 minutes and 53 seconds of Roots. Got stopped. I'm trying to watch it in the airport. There was a lot of things going on, but I'm gonna get to it. But
you have to take time because
what it sounds like to me is almost like they created Empire season 1 and episode 1. And then episodes 2 through 4 are Empire season 2.
Yeah, I had to go away from everybody while I was watching because I was constantly yelling at the TV. My husband's like, "What is all that commentary going on?"
Hey, Nicka, what do you think of my picture?
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh, you didn't look at it?
I was scared to click it while we were live.
Me too. Oh, I need permission. I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it?
Nope.
Yeah, I do too.
Let
Oh
me.
my goodness. Well, we've hit time. I know everybody's tired. It's like, full night for Miss Shelley and True.
Only for you.
Yeah, and Drew and I will be talking at 1 o'clock in the morning. Just
Well,
hit
listen.
each other up with questions. Or
Well,
what was that? Because I asked you a question. I think it was 1:30 in the morning or something. I had texted you or
And
sent
I
you a
don't even know
message.
why I was up that late.
I
That's
know,
the
and
thing
you
about
answered it.
I'll be up. I'll be up for a while, so feel free to reach out to me because I'll be up for a little
I'm
while.
in those Indiana records,
Oh
so
yeah, I already know that's gonna keep me up all night.
I'm in there. It's 11:30 here.
Yeah, I'll try to hang till about 12:30.
All right. Well, I want to make sure we're cognizant of time, but I definitely want to remind everybody through the summer we're actually doing 2 hangouts per month.
All
Well,
righty.
aren't we uppity?
Yeah, we are uppity. We're doing 2 months. I'm telling you. So our next one is on June. It's on June 14th. It's Tuesday. And that is, you see how we have feedback? This is what you do to us every time.
Wait, Linda Bug says she done pulled down 80 records from the Indiana.
I saw that. So we were
Yeah.
talking about Indiana records that just got released by Ancestry, over 1 million plus records.
I'm on it.
All that. I pulled some stuff down today as well. I'm not even halfway done going through everything. But back to our schedule.
Yes.
So Tuesday, June 14th, join us. We're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about Arkansas and Indian Territory research from the African American genealogy perspective. Of course, that is Miss Angela. That's our area.
Angela, I got a present for you with that.
Yeah, I know, because James was hating because we weren't getting to his states until like the end of the year.
No, I'm not worried about that.
I
Angela,
have a question in the box.
I have a present for you, Angela.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
A glass of wine?
Well, besides, it's even better than that.
Oh.
I got the proceedings for the Grand Lodge of, now this is an African American, mind you, for the Grand Lodge of Oklahoma Territory and the Grand Lodge of Indian Territory when they came together.
Oh.
Where would that be?
That was, I think it was 1902, I think it was?
You mean with statehood or when the lodges began?
Get in there, True.
I think it was 1902, I believe. I gotta pull it back up, but I found them.
Talk.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, because we are both,
So my great-grandfather was still alive. I'm so anxious to see if he was in any of the lodges. Sam, the first of the
Sam.
Well, we'll dig into them. We'll have to dig into them.
Yeah, I'll send you a name. Thank you.
Awesome. And
Question in the box.
African Roots
There
Podcast.
was. Yeah.
About the podcast.
There is one from today.
There's one from the day.
Oh, you already posted. I'm waiting for it. That's
I
why
saw her tweet it. I saw Angela tweet it earlier.
Okay, I missed it. I'm going for it.
And she was my guest.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. That'll be playing in the ear while I'm in Indiana.
Exactly. So, Indiana. So June 14th is our Indian Territory and Arkansas hangout. We're back till we're not going super late. I promise you won't be, eating bonbons in your pajamas with your bunny, house shoes on. Regular 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's June 14th for the Arkansas and Indian Territory hangout. And then in July, we're going to come live on Tuesday, July 12th from the Midwestern African American Genealogical Institute. We got to figure out what we're going to do because there's going to be so many of us.
2 people in this room, 2 people in the next room, 2 people in the next room.
So we got to figure out.
We need to all be together.
Yes.
Yeah, but it'll be about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll be live from the Midwest African American Genealogical Institute.
Yay.
That's July 12th. And the 16th, we're going to be talking about not the New Moss Genealogy Society. It's going to be all things Genealogy Society. So I guess I can finish up with the rest of the summer since we're doing the two for series. August 2nd on Tuesday, we'll be talking about Alabama and Georgia. genealogy research. And,
Yay!
yes, I know. Something that your boys are like, oh, wait, you know what? We might only be doing one in August because that's when football season starts.
Oh.
We'll be getting back to that.
Yeah, I'm a coach's wife. I'm sorry, I apologize. So, like, my house is like live, die, eat, breathe, football, 24 hours a day, literally, from like right now. I kid you not. Actually, it starts now because they have spring practice.
Nothing wrong with that.
And until like October. Actually, no.
Yep.
Let's put it into the atmosphere in November so they make it further into the playoffs. So,
Yeah,
anywho.
but the Super Bowl is January.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking
at the high school level.
So, we just want to thank everyone for joining us. If you have any questions about the Genealogy Jamboree, maybe you considered coming and you weren't sure if you wanted to come, or you wanted to talk to somebody who has been. This is the 4th year we've been here. We love coming. The people are great. Definitely, we need to give a shout out and hats off to the Southern California Genealogical Society for putting on this event. It's very seamless, especially the future. You know, we have very few things we ever have to be concerned with. You literally walk in the room with your laptop and you're done. Everything is set up. There are recordings that you can buy of different presentations. I know they've recorded some of mine, so if you weren't here to actually watch them live, you can get them on a DVD, or you can get them, with the audio recording.
They got live streaming.
And then they also have live streaming. That was a big thing that took place this year, where some of the sessions were held live, and you can watch them online. As
a schedule.
Something else that people missed were the free. Hold on, this is one thing. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. Legacy gave out free webinar DVDs.
Yeah.
Let's check, too. So we'll be giving some out at Maggie as door prizes.
That's
what I give away.
Yes.
I'm bringing some to Maggie to give away to track 1.
Yes, so I put technology and techniques for differentiating two people with the same name. That's Just Talk That. Judy Russell, divorce.
Oh, that one.
Ooh.
Building a family from circumstantial evidence.
That one's awesome. I've got 4 of those. I gave 2 away on Angela's presentation. I'm going to give 2 more.
I have to look and see if I grabbed some of those. I know Jeff was giving them away too at Roots Tech.
Yeah,
that's where I got them at.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Spin the wheel today at the end.
Oh,
you
old pooter.
When you put a magnifying glass, you can win a mug or a magnifier.
And the thing around your neck.
Oh, they did have lanyards.
Oh, I want that.
You know you can order it since we're not there.
Angela Walton-Raji, I want a mug.
Yeah,
I know. I got to call Krista. Let me call Krista on y'all.
You can spin the wheel for stuff. So. Yeah, I also got a Bureau of Land Management. I got a mouse pad. That was another thing.
Oh, man, I need a new one.
I wonder if they'll have those at Maggie.
I hope so. They want to bring the full booth.
Oh, wonderful. You know what? I need to check back with Ancestry and see if I can get some mugs for Maggie.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
That's the only thing I don't have from them. I like that. I wanted their T-shirts too. I wanted to take it off that girl's back. It's like, oh, but the company makes these for us while we're working. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We didn't even announce which states we had in the house tonight. We got our.
I so appreciate you guys doing it. Yeah.
Still Virginia. We are in California.
Beautiful California. Not yet to see Southern California. But
Southern California is very nice.
It's pretty. The little bit I see, which is about a 2-square block area.
It is.
My baby's an OC baby. I had him out in the OC.
Did you?
These are my backgrounds. I'm from Southern California.
Yeah. We have that in common.
Basically. So
you can take it off of recording.
out here watching us, thank you for joining us tonight. And be sure to check back in with us on June 14th while we're going to talk about Arkansas
and
Indian territory research. So if you allegedly have a Native American princess in your
Or
list,
white.
you might want to tune in that night.
Or black.
Or a black Indian princess with
I said black and white.
and long hair.
I'm part.
She still got hair on her head.
Exactly.
Choctaw girl.
My glory.
And
You're
I'm
not Choctaw anymore, Nicka.
All right, you all
lose your strength when you cut your hair.
What'd you say?
You lose your strength when you cut your hair. Remember in the movies? And was it Samson? Who get the hair cut and they go?
yeah, it was
Who is it?
Samson.
You need to stop the recording, please.
Anyway, we've been trying to get off forever.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank